Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting edition of Kavzar's Settlement Showcase. We just got done showing off the Red Rocket truck stop in the previous video that I recorded, and now we'll be doing arguably one of the most popular, and if not one of the best, settlements in the entire Commonwealth. And that is Sanctuary. Now, for my build of Sanctuary, in my personal opinion, I think my first build in my first playthrough was a lot better than this one. This one tried to replicate it. I made a little bit of a few minor improvements. It's still somewhat bare bones, so bear with me. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen, the settlement of New Haven. And of course, I had to throw in an Overwatch reference there. So as you'll notice, fully fortified. It's got concrete walls pretty much surrounding the entire island. It's got more or less a moat rather than a river. And as you'll notice, the bridge is fully intact. There is a mod. There's actually several mods to fix the bridge. One of them is one that I use. There's various versions again. This one's been somewhat buggy in the past, so I would really recommend you check out, which mods you want to use to fix the bridge here in Sanctuary. As you'll notice, the river is chock full of water purifiers for the settlement. It is, I think, one of the highest, if not the second highest after, what was it, Nordhagen, I believe, was the other one that has the most water production, at least out of the settlements I've built. And so this one's the second highest water producing settlement. You go inside. Here's the main defenses. You have the main bastion here guarding the bridge, 2 minigun turrets, 2 Fat Man turrets. The entire settlement is wired for electricity. And here we have this. The Dark Tower. And no, not the Stephen King kind. But anyways, this footprint for this building right here, this house on the corner right next to the bridge, the reason why I have a tower, little guard tower here, is because in my first playthrough, it was basically this very footprint right here in this settlement. That was the first time I really started experimenting with building stuff, with, doing the whole settlement thing that this game promotes. And prior to that, I hadn't really built anywhere else, and it was a lot of experimentation. It was kind of a rinky-dink, really ramshackle guard tower that I put together. It was horribly unarchitectural, if that's even a word. But anyways, yeah, here we have a bed, which is mine, and it's basically for whoever's on guard duty here in the guard tower. And yep, it is fully wired with missile turrets. It's got Fat Man turrets on the corners. And as you'll notice, somebody's coming over the bridge. Little traders come through here. And I think it's approaching nighttime. I didn't check. Yep, it is almost 7, meaning I might have to save and quit and start fresh in the morning. Or not save and quit, but just save. So anyways, yeah, the guard tower. Plenty of turrets to defend us. Of course, I got something to turn off all the rocket launcher turrets. But yeah, you'll notice it covers the southern approach across the way of the little river, lake, whatever you want to call it. Of course, there's another settlement. Abernathy is just right a stone's throw away across the river. One of my favorite settlements, by the way. And unlike all the other settlements that I've recorded, this one actually has a population in it. Because I turned on my radio transmitter before I left. I almost never come here in this playthrough. For obvious reasons. Survival of the fittest playthrough. You don't really come back to Sanctuary very often. I usually try to stick close to Diamond City where all the action is. So, again, that's another reason why that this settlement is particularly neglected compared to some of my other ones. I could have made it a lot better. I could have made a lot of those little cabins and make it a little mini city like I do. But another reason why I didn't do that is because all of these houses that, are left over from the pre-war era, they're all falling apart and stuff. But still, you can occupy them. And that's what I did for a couple of them. I built doors, beds, etc. in some of these houses. In my first playthrough, I really got into it with these houses and built, lights and stuff and made it all awesome, where you can turn lights on and off at night. But I didn't do that with this particular playthrough. I didn't really put any effort into this settlement. So again, my apologies. I know there are some showcases of this particular settlement of Sanctuary Hills that, blow mine out of the water with way more mods. So, again, I know it's not too impressive, but still, I try to just build forts and, from a tactical mindset, you know, to try and fortify stuff and keep people safe, you know, that kind of thing. So that's just kind of what I want to showcase here. A lot of these houses I left empty and derelict because most of the people are going to be living in this central building. And this central building I have affectionately named the Hive. And so we'll get to that one momentarily. Here we have the rear entrance, which is basically, if anybody ever comes across the main bridge, if they somehow manage to sack Red Rocket truck stop, burn it to the ground, and they come marching through over the bridge and start attacking the main entrance, you know, from the Commonwealth. This rear entrance, you open it up, and it leads to the vault. So basically, it's kind of a safety valve. You can get all the civilians and women and children out, and you can get them locked into the vault up on the hill there. And also, it's heavily fortified to keep people, from pursuing them, you know, as they go through. These turrets can turn around 180 degrees, as well as this is supposed to guard the back entrance if anybody tries to do a sneak attack on the rear entrance. So, again, pretty cool stuff. I got a bunch of minigun turrets, Fat Man turrets, a bunch of laser scanner turrets. I put all of these cement blocks here all across this back part, to make it seem like they hauled a bunch of the cement from that quarry that's nearby, which is Thicket Excavations, you know, to build the walls. So it's kind of excess concrete and steel, etc., to keep the walls fortified and keep the settlement's defenses going strong. But also because this settlement was my first experimentation into using the delete everything mods, the build everything mods, you know, unlimited build, all those crazy settlement mods, and I went a little nuts and was deleting all these hedgerows, which, as it turns out, is a very, very bad idea, because when you delete the hedgerows and you stand inside of them, everything else de-renders, meaning like everything disappears, and it's terrifying. So just be careful when you're using mods, especially settlement mods like that, where you can delete everything, which I can delete these houses if I wanted to. Ordinarily, you're not supposed to be able to delete these houses. I can. The exceptions being the ones that are falling down, like the one that was on that footprint. You can delete that ordinarily. But just be careful what you're deleting with your mods, especially with the delete everything mods, because, again, I royally screwed up, and yeah, so that's why there's a bunch of concrete blocks everywhere. But it adds the element of realism. Again, it almost makes it seem like it's a settlement under construction, fairly isolated. You know, 20 people, even though by settlement standards that's maxed out. You know, by people standards, 20 people is not very many people. So again, it kind of makes it seem like this sprawling, huge settlement is, you know, under construction, and people are still building it, as evidenced by the fact that people hammer on this building all day. So, anyways, continuing on. It's fully nighttime, and what I'm going to do is go to my house. This is the house that you start out in at the beginning of the game. And, of course, I have the locked doors mod, which is very awesome. Adds a nice little element of realism. And, of course, I don't know if you're ordinarily able to add a door onto this. I think you are, and that's what I did. And so I slapped a door on it because there's not one there when you, you know, come back out of the vault when the apocalypse happens. And I slapped the door on there and locked it, so basically this house is still somewhat secure, never mind all the holes in the walls and lack of windows. But this was my storage room that I used briefly. You know, you kind of use Sanctuary in the early part of the game as a base of operations. You do side quests, etc., to get your XP up. You know, if for those of you familiar with the survival playthrough mode, it's definitely a good place to start. And so I kind of built, you know, a little bit of a room, storage room. That was supposed to be Sean's room, I believe. Here, it was supposed to be like the laundry room, and I was able to delete a bunch of crap in here, like the washer, dryer, heating unit, whatever the hell was in here, HVAC crap. So, yeah, again, I think that was the delete everything mod. But what I'm going to do is take a nap, and by take a nap, I mean go to sleep. So, 8:50, 7:50, 6:50. Let's watch the sunrise together, shall we? Actually, let's do 5:50. Yeah, there we go. I like getting up early in the morning in this game. It's nice looking at the sun. And God knows how long this is going to take, because this is a glitch that happens sometimes where apparently sleeping takes you ridiculously long, and God damn it. Yay. Instead of counting down like 5, 4, 3, 2, you know, it does it where it's like horrendously delayed like this, which is just fantastic. Thanks for that, Bethesda. A port that wasn't very well done for the Xbox One, because It was horribly overspec'd. There we go. Drinking a little bit of water. There we go. We gotta drink water in here. There we go. So it's right in the early morning. I'm gonna go out to my garage and start up my... Oh. Alright. Yeah. And as you'll notice, dog meat obviously is not here, even though I do have a little doghouse built for him. This is when he likes to come over and visit. And, yeah, he's at Red Rocket right now. So, yeah, just look at that. Look at that sun just coming up. Alright. So here, in this footprint, next to the main house where everybody's always hammering, is the marketplace. I have pretty much all the stores, all the stalls. It's a rudimentary trading area of the northern part of the Commonwealth. Pretty important trading zone. A lot of caravans come through here. People exchange goods, caps, bullets, guns, etc. You have the main door to close it at night.
Something.
Yeah, well, be glad you live here. Anyways, and on the roof of the marketplace, when people aren't milling around doing nothing...
Living. This ain't.
Get out of the way, Sturgis. There you go. So on the roof of the marketplace, you have a bunch of couches, tables, etc. A place where traders and farmers alike can relax after a long day. And here's the bar, yeah. So the rooftop bar. Kind of a nice little place to hang out. Nice little amenities there. And so, boop, boop, doo, speeding right along. Gotta make this quick because I don't want this to turn into another Spectacle Island debacle. More empty houses. I had the option to delete this massive tree in this roundabout. I decided to leave it alone because it's pretty awesome, so duh. I left it alone. I'm pretty sure that house has a ton of beds. These houses all have a ton of beds. And this one is the northernmost bastion that guards the northern approach if anything was to come from outside the Commonwealth directly across that little stream and start hitting us from that side. Fortress of the Sun. Yep. Of course, the rising sun is rising right now. As you'll notice, I gave all of my buildings addresses. Uh-oh. Sounds like a rad storm. Or maybe a regular storm. Who knows? But anyways, I gave all of my buildings addresses like I always do, and I'm going to shut that for surprise purposes later. So anyways, we're going to go in here. Now again, this is kind of bare bones. There's supposed to be beds and other amenities in here, but again, I didn't want to overdo it with... I do have the unlimited building mod turned on. However, when I do overdo it, it does tend to affect the frame rate. So these buildings, in theory, should have beds in them, but I didn't build them because of the restrictions of my console being a colossal piece of crap. So, again, these are little rooms, little murder holes to kind of see the approach from the north. It sounds like it's just a regular storm, which is good. I don't like rad storms. They scare me. So you have a little murder hole there, kind of see the northwestern approach. Over there is, I believe, where that little bunker is that you can go into. And here we have the rooftop access. And so, it's all missile turrets, all the time, 24/7. Oh yeah. Fully surrounded, so that way, basically, if anything did manage to breach the walls, it would have to contend with this building. And of course, like always, I like to have control. There we go. Going back down to the ground floor, and you'll somewhat notice what I had here. This is the wall that leads out here. Little courtyard area. Looks like somebody dug 2 graves, and it's kind of a remnants of the post-war era. And, yep, little courtyard area, and if you activate these, it's kind of a secret entrance and exit. So there you go. Again, I built those cinder blocks over there. I accidentally deleted crap. You can pretty much build on the whole island when you have the extended borders mod. There's a floating branch right there for a tree that I deleted. Anyways, oh, there comes the sun. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. That's beautiful. Anyways, so yeah, 2 doors controlled by 2 separate switches. So that way, if you ever need to make a quick exit, you know, get everybody filing out of here, you got 2 doors instead of 1, so that way it's not congested. Scanner, laser scanner, miniguns, laser scanner, miniguns, and that's pretty much it. This leads nowhere important. There's a drainage pipe. And that is the Fortress of the Sun. Now, this particular settlement isn't anything special. The previous build in my first playthrough I had, there was a super reactor in here. But by the time I started building and working on the settlement, it was before I had access to that in this playthrough. So I just built a bunch of fusion reactors. And there's 5 of them, that's 500 power. I don't really need a super reactor, which is 1,000. To be honest, I think one of these would have done just fine for this settlement, maybe 2. But anyways, yeah, so this is where all the power comes from. This is the master control switch that literally shuts down the entire settlement. So if some evildoer wanted to do that, he could go in there and screw it up. Treachery! Anyways, so yeah, that was the powerhouse. 8675309, yes, I know, it's stupid. Da Workshop, 187 on the undercover cop. There's a guy trapped in here. Anyways. Chemistry, armor, weapons, power armor, and the modded settlement thingy. The Nuka filling machine, which fills up your empty Nuka-Cola bottles with Nuka-Cola. It's actually a pretty badass mod, although I never use it, but I would recommend checking it out. Anyways, roof access, nothing special up here, just kind of an observatory slash roof to protect it from this exact scenario of rain. So there you go, although the Nuka-Cola is exposed. And here you kind of have a bird's eye view of the lake out back and all the water purifiers. And trust me, this settlement build with regards to the outer wall is a hell of a lot better than what it was before, which was, you know, junk fences and, you know, horribly janky wooden fences, you know, that you have access to fairly early game. It looked ugly and was really disorganized and crappy, and of course had gaps in it because of, you know, it's being a junk fence. So this this build, the outer wall is a lot better, a lot more sturdy and sexy looking because it's concrete and, you know, more defensible. And of course you get little flags there for the Minutemen. Oh, looks like you finally got out.
If you work, you eat.
If you work, you eat. Blah, blah, blah. Hey, Codsworth. Anyways, so going this way. Here we have the farms. Again, these farms here in this build of Sanctuary aren't as extensive as the ones in my previous playthrough, my first playthrough, which was, I think it was normal mode. This one's kind of pretty rudimentary, so you got a couple of, you know, bushes of mute fruits and water pumps. There should be a water pump here. There it is. Yep, I guess I couldn't build in the end right here for whatever reason. But, yeah, so those are the farms. This is what feeds this particular settlement. And now we'll get to the cherry on top of the cake, which is the hive. Now, my first building that I did that was like the hive, I think was roughly half of its height, half of this current height, maybe 4 stories, I think, max. This one, I believe, is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. And this one is a lot more impressive and was way more time intensive than my first attempt at building a centralized building that's basically a massive fortress. So, building 000. Here's a little couch to hang out, you know, when you're bored and you want to watch the rain and, you know, be a little warm and stuff. So we're going to go in here. Pretty much the same, almost the identical layout of the first time I built this building. For the ground floor, I simplified this corner a little bit. So kind of a little bedroom. Here's a little living area, common area, you know, where people can just hang out, talk, eat, whatever. And another bedroom here. I got a desk, storage area. Shut up, Preston. And, yep, little dinner table slash breakfast table. You can sit here as the sun's coming up and watch the sun and look at the rain and eat your cereal. You know, there you go. So, yep. Oh, and doing this particular thing where I hung up the banner, as you know, those are supposed to go on walls, but it's clearly suspended by nothing. Again, that's the Place Anywhere mod. Very, very handy mod. I think that's a pretty badass effect, actually, now that I look at it. I haven't done that anywhere else in any of my settlements, to my knowledge. So, pretty cool little effect there. No idea why I built that there. There's probably some kind of thing I needed to block out, like a concrete pillar or something. Same in that corner. Okay, so going over here.
What do you need, General?
I need you to get out of the way is what I need you to do. Anyways, so underneath this staircase and hidden by these walls, very hidden rooms. You know, and this is where a bunch of Minutemen soldiers would, you know, garrison and sleep, and they got all their, you know, foot lockers full of ammo and guns and stuff. And another communal living area. Here's the guy who would be in charge, like the sergeant or, you know, whatever officer, if they have any sort of ranking system. Get out of the way, Preston. Stop floating inside of nothing. It's about all you're good for. Anyway, so here we have the 3rd floor, and what I did is the same thing as I did in my previous build of this settlement, was I had an outer access to it, so you can come down here and, you know, here's a staircase leads up directly to the 3rd floor, and you can come up here from this little staircase, and it goes right there. Kind of cool, huh? And you can hang out here and get nice and toasty and, you know, kind of like a barbecue area, which I should have built grills around here. That would have been kind of cool, but again, you have this cooking area here. That's, you know, I guess that's what that's for. And yep, little staircase, mini staircase here gets you on this walkway.
Yes.
So that's how you do it. Yep, I got a support column there. And so let's go back up to the 3rd floor. And I apologize in advance for the shitty frame rate. Again, I'm playing on an Xbox One, not a PC. I am in the middle of the planning phase of building my own PC. It's going to be upwards of approximately $6 grand. And it's going to put this crap to shame. And hopefully in the future I'll be able to have amazing frame rates, even better mods, and better settlement builds. This is kind of going to be my new hobby after my Warhammer hobby is finished in later years. Anyways, got a little bedroom here, a little flag. At night, it is nightmarish to navigate this, I would imagine, because unlike all my other settlements, I didn't put candles in any of these hallways. So I believe we're on the 4th floor now. And here we have these kind of murder holes, observatory post areas that you can look out to the rest of the settlement, just in case the outer wall is ever breached. So you can see that path that leads up to the vault back there. And it's kind of cool because I have the walls here blocking out any external views of the interior of the settlement. And so here, you're probably wondering what this void is right here. This part's pretty cool. So here you have a little balcony. You can see for hundreds of yards out the approach of the river, down that river. In that direction is Abernathy. You got the water tower, you got Red Rocket, you got all the water purification area. It's the tower, or the, excuse me, the Fortress of the Sun. In that direction, very nice view. It's nice and rainy and it's pleasant. And then of course, over here is a little Easter egg I designed. I've been very eager to show that off. Cupcake corner. So here you can take your sweetie pie and make out with her and or sex. Anyways, so yeah, little makeout area for me and Kate, you know, lesbian escapades. I think this is the 5th floor? 5th floor or 6th floor? I don't remember. But anyways, so up there, or no, yeah, this is the 5th floor because the next one's the 6th floor. So, anyways, this back here is a long hallway that goes around the outer edge. And here, it kind of cuts off in a corner. I never really figured out what to do with that. I was thinking about putting a chair in there or something. But anyways, yep, more beds, kind of a storage area more than a living space, really. There's no place to put your clothes or anything, or weapons, so just extra beds in case anybody ever needs them. Plus it's hidden, so you can kind of sleep back there if you want to, if you're looking to get out of work. I don't want to farm today, I'm going to go hide in the hidey hole. So, yep, and here's the top floor. And again, more murder holes, more observation points. You can get your sniper rifle and give the outer defenses, the outer walls, a little bit of cover. Again, we have the western approach from the vault. Very high vantage point, very nice view. You can see all of the extra cinder blocks we pulled out of thicket excavations to build the defenses of this place. It cost quite a few caps, to be honest. And here we have another view. That's the watchtower over there, the dark tower. And of course, this took a bit of figuring out. And again, I'm not that great at working with concrete in this game. I'm more adept at snapping wood crap together. But this, I think I'm particularly proud of because it was a little bit difficult to get this kind of finagled in here. So, you hit the switch, and it's a staircase to the roof. And here, you have the largest arsenal of any defensive setup in the entirety of the Commonwealth. This has more firepower on this roof than anywhere else of any building that I have ever built on any of my settlements. And again, anything that's wired, master control switch shuts it down. Now let's go through what we have up here. A lot of these turrets are modded turrets. You have a Gauss turret right there, more Gauss turrets. And so what I did, the design is anything on the corners, it goes from the longest range, which would be this anti-tank turret rifle, and And then the next one over, so the next ones next to it are going to be Gauss rifles, which is almost as long range as that. The next ones are the missile turrets, which is a little bit less range. And then, of course, towards the core part of the long ways are the Fat Man turrets, which has a little bit less range than the missile turrets. And so the corners are the most dangerous parts of the building, A, because of the most powerful, and B, because of the range that they're capable of taking out something, which is very, very high when it comes to those anti-material, anti-tank rifle modded turrets, which strangely enough do require a power source, and they cost upwards of, I think, either 3,000 or 5,000 caps. They are very, very expensive to do in survival playthroughs, so I was lucky enough to get enough caps to do this for this video. So, the most heavily defended building in the most heavily fortified, well, not the most heavily fortified settlement, that would probably go to one of my other settlements, but this building alone is just loaded up with immense firepower. And this is where all the power comes from. I wired it. This was a pain in the ass to wire, all the way coming from that power room over there. I had to wire, you know, all the power towers down there to each other, and then I had to get it up the side of the building to right here, to this tower, to the main control tower. This wasn't one of the most labor-intensive ones. I think that honor goes to Spectacle Island, which I will be recording next. That will be my final two-part recording of Kavzar's Settlement Showcase to wrap up the mini-series. I would like you all to like, share, comment, subscribe. And I would also like to thank you all for watching. I have certainly enjoyed all of these settlement builds, and look forward to doing more intricate and detailed and realistic ones in the future. I'll probably do reduxes of a lot of the videos I've done in the past that didn't have voiceovers, because I started recording this series about, I don't know, a month or two before I got my mic, so I can record via Elgato. I got a Blue Yeti mic, which is actually really high quality. I would recommend buying one if you ever do want to do any sort of AV stuff, audiovisual stuff. So again, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. And it looks like the rain is just starting to clear up. Look at that. Would you look at that? And this cow can't make it through, so I'm gonna shut the door. I'm going to leave you with that nice little view of the lake. I will see you guys next time in the two-parter series finale, Spectacle Island.